Internet.
Well, hello, Internet. It's us again for
On a
the.
Wednesday.
What session is this?
24.
24?
Oh, thank God. I had the same number as everybody else.
No. 25. This week is 25.
No, it's not.
Are you counting the interlude?
Did I pre-label a session number? I did. I pre-labeled a session number.
Do
This is
not
24.
scare me, motherfucker. I matched everybody else for once. You know how
Of my immediate thought was list. So you're counting the interlude. The interlude doesn't count. That was a one shot. Excuse
Yeah.
you.
I mean, also, how long have you and I known each other? It is in your best interest to not listen to a word that I ever say. Whatever I say is just by its own virtue more likely to just be wrong.
I mean,
The
you heard it
agreement,
from his mouth,
Mhm.
Internet. You heard it
agreement from everyone. But yeah, but it's D&D night. Time to roll some dice.
Woo.
And before we get started, as I am wont to do, a bunch of shout outs real quick to all of the tools that we use, including and up to but not limited to Incarnate and Dungeon Alchemist and Foundry VTT and Hero Forge and Fantasy Name Generators, Monument Studios and Pocket Bard, and I think I'm missing one. And others. And don't forget, you can donate to Extra Life. Link to our team page is in the chat or in the description. It's around. You can affect the game in real time, and we're raising money for the kids. So yeah. I am really excited to get started. So we will jump right into it with some warm-up questions. So I will have everyone roll me a D100.
I rolled a 9.
9. What deity, if any, does your character worship? And what is their opinion on other people's worship?
I feel like I've answered this before, but
If you want to roll again,
It's-
I know someone has gotten this before.
yeah.
So if you want to roll again, you can.
55.
55. That's more like it, maybe.
Listen, I've been playing Shadowheart a lot, so the cleric numbers are just trickling down.
What type of creature in the world is your character the most intrigued by?
I mean, because I love them so much, my first inclination is to say displacer beasts.
I mean, Displacer Beasts are a true, unequivocal classic.
Exactly. I think that Helia just finds them beautiful and fascinating and just very cool.
Okay.
And that is how I also feel about them.
Alright, who's next?
I can go next. 98.
98. I think you've also gotten this one
We need a new
before.
list.
What advice would your character give to a younger version of themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely got that one before.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Let's roll again. Opposite end of the spectrum. 28.
28. I know you've already gotten this one. What is
Son of a
currently
bitch.
motivating your character to stay with the party?
Not having a large enough retirement fund. All right, try again.
Money.
61.
61. How does your character imagine the way they will die?
Jesus, again! It's everything's about Zill dying. This
I know.
poor man who's done nothing
'Cause
but
he's the
just be a
oldest.
good beat cop his whole life.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
you're
he
the
was
oldest. You're
yeah,
getting to that stage of your life where you got to
it's
start thinking about these
true.
things. Make
I
sure the
mean,
will is updated. Make sure your
yeah,
beneficiary contact info is correct.
pretty much. Yeah. I mean, he assumes he will die in the same way he's basically always assumed that he will die on a job, whether that was when he was being a cop and he was on a job there, or as an adventurer on a job. He just assumes that, of course, that's how it's gonna happen. Like, it doesn't occur to him that the possibility is like old age or illness or something like that. Like that just
So
seems so unlikely in his head.
you assume that you won't just die, you will be killed by something.
Yes.
Okay. All right, next.
18.
18.
Ooh, I'm 19. So.
Hey!
So Sam, what would your character's zodiac sign be following stereotypical astrology without Googling it?
Mm.
Which is my way of saying you can say literally anything because I know absolutely nothing about astrology. That's not true. Apparently Scorpios are dickbags or something like that. That's the only thing I know.
Are you a Scorpio?
No.
No,
Oh.
he's a Leo.
The Scorpios get a bad rap. I know that for sure.
Scorpios are very passionate.
Dustin, Tina, and I too are Leos.
Mhm.
I think it's stupid.
Without deep diving / Googling and what I know, honestly, Leo kind of fits her.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just from her personality and, yeah. I think Leo.
Yeah, Lula seems to be very much like the lawful good, maybe neutral good. I don't see you really being chaotic good, but if you were, it would be very much like a true Robin Hood archetype. That it's not that you're anti-rules, it's that you are better off outside of those rules to get what you know is right done.
Yeah.
Right. And Tina, you got a 19?
I'm 19.
I'm going to let you re-roll this. I'm going to tell you what the question is, and then admit that I have done very little world building outside of this city for you guys. Where in the world does your character want most to visit?
Well, it was Spice Mountain, but that exploded.
Yeah.
So I will re-roll. 54.
54. Reroll again, because I know you've gotten this one.
Wow,
How does
you
your
guys.
character feel about keeping secrets from the rest of the party? All right, so there are 100 of these. All right, and this is only session 24. So I know that there are questions here that you have not answered.
82.
But not that one.
Is your character more of an introvert or extrovert?
I think Endeavor probably would be classified as an introvert. I don't think it's necessarily that they're they dislike being around others. In fact, I think they enjoy being around others. I think they're just more inclined to not take the lead in that. So if it comes down to going out to have a conversation, they're much more comfortable letting someone else lead that interaction and are very content to sort of they're very content being the wingman.
I would say that it's not so much similar to what you're getting at. It's not so much you being an introvert. It's more you being Endeavor is only what, like 3 years old?
Yeah, Endeavor's like 3 or so. I think we fixed. Yeah,
Mhm.
Endeavor is the equivalent of a very knowledgeable child that never went through all of the social things that other children do.
Yeah. So once you go through all of those, experiences that are supposed to be, shared experiences at young
Yeah.
age, um I think you will become an extrovert, but that might not be a fair description
Yeah.
of you yet.
Yeah. I see them more as somebody who wants, and possibly because of the people they're,
Mhm.
because you have Lula, you have Helia, these people who are at the very least appear to be comfortable expressing themselves and engaging. So I think they want to be that, but they don't have the formative experiences to understand how to go do it
Right.
because they just never have that. Also because like Robot Alone just reminds me of like the rover on Mars when it got sad because it got dark, and then I just makes me
Oh.
want to cry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is Endeavor like the
Yeah.
equivalent of the homeschool kid that suddenly like gets thrown into public school and just like doesn't really
no, it's like the
get it?
homeschool kid where they go away to
Same
college
thing. God
Oh, we're
and
created
jumping straight to
dinosaurs.
college.
yeah, basically, it's like they went to college without having any of those experiences. Which, to be fair, I definitely knew a number of folks that I grew up with who were extremely mature in some aspects, but had absolutely no sort of concept of what everybody else went through in high school because they came from very, very, very different backgrounds.
Hmm.
All right. Um so before we really get going, one last thing. Who would like to recap us on everything, on the state of things and everything that has happened in the last session or two?
All right. In summary, after leaving Spice Mountain, which is now Spice Caldera
Great.
Mm.
Crater. Yeah.
crater, yeah. Um, and traveling for several days, we essentially got back to Skytown in ruins and cut in half, and being run as a military dictatorship in order to keep things somewhat under control. Police state,
Police
should we
Yeah.
state.
say? Police
There's
state.
some martial law going on.
There's
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
of martial law, but there's no that you have experienced. It does not appear that one guild or one family has taken control. So to say dictatorship
Yeah,
is a little unfair to your knowledge at this point,
that is
right
Rhodes'
now.
assumption of the future. Sorry. Martial law police state is
Yeah.
the correct term. Um, which was in some ways justified considering our attempt to just travel through the other side of town and someone trying to, do some highway robbery. So, understandable that a strong force was necessary to keep things under control. But in all of the hubbub, we somehow own a forge that's not currently functional, but we own it. We confirmed that Lula's family is safe and sound. Props to Hops.
Yep.
And her aunt is not at all thankful for the fact that she probably saved her daughter's life, but like whatever. Are officially part of the Legionnaires, essentially, considering they've taken over our guild and we're in that guild, so we're kind of in that guild now.
They gave us fancy stuff.
Yeah, they gave us fancy stuff and fancy armor, so at the very least we're representatives. Let's see. I'm trying to hit the highlights.
It seems safe to assume that you've been at the very least deputized.
Yeah, deputized. And at the forge, we did find some people probably doing some illegal nonsense, and unfortunately, we did have to kill them because they don't want to listen to reason. Brazil was very nice and tried to very nicely say, "Get the hell out." They didn't want to listen. So they're probably, well, they are dead now. And
Oh, they're definitely dead. You've piled
dead,
up the
they're dead.
bodies after taking
Yes.
anything
Yes.
of value from their corpses.
Trying to see if there's anything else that's like super high level that wasn't just like RPing with random people. I think that's high level where we are at. Oh yeah, and somehow we ran into people in bits and bobs. That
Yeah.
you know. But other than that, after we basically ended with we're all going back to our various places with, some of us bunking up with friends because they no longer have an apartment. And got a long rest. And I wrote down
Got a
that
long
we
rest.
were allowed to
Long
hit the
rest,
button
yeah.
to get
We
the
were.
long
Yes.
rest
You
because we
did
needed
hit-
it.
Yes. I said hit the button.
Yes,
Wrong.
that was key.
Wrong
Right.
button.
Well, I don't remember what my stats were, so
All right. So yeah, it is now the next morning. It is dawn.
Right.
So how do you guys want to begin the day?
We need to get to the place. We need to go.
yeah, we've
meet.
got to go report in, get our next
Yeah.
job.
I was supposed to meet. Did I write that down? I think I was supposed to meet family for bullets.
Yeah, you were supposed to pick up bullets early before we went to the.
I think they said they were gonna meet us at.
They were gonna meet you at the keep.
Yeah, at the keep.
Deep Armory Keep
Thank you.
is the word you were looking for.
That's the one.
All right. So that is where you guys are headed now. There's nowhere else that you want or need to be or anything like that
I don't think
before
so.
you head over there. I'm not insinuating. I'm asking a question. I promise.
Nope. I think we did everything yesterday that we needed.
Yeah.
You're not implying we forgot a side quest? Okay, thanks.
So you guys
Are
don't
you
want to pick up health
sure?
potions?
Yeah. No, we already did that and got.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. So you head off to the Deep Armory Keep, and as expected, you are met standing outside the wall is Lula, is your father, who I thought it was written down in the notebook. It is your father, and Elsa is also with him.
Calabar.
And yes, that guy.
That guy.
So the two of them see your group approaching, and Elsa kind of just walks up to you guys. Everybody make a perception or insight.
12.
It's Jackson.
7.
11.
It's
Okay.
early, you guys.
It
Lula's
is. It is.
definitely a night owl.
So Lula got a 7,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. Oddly enough, everybody but Lula notices that
Still
these two gnomes that are meeting you outside the keep, neither one of them look great. They look pretty disheveled. Elsa does not look like she has slept at all. Um, the situation in the city seems to be taking a toll on them. But
So it's been back for
Elsa,
like a day.
yeah. um, but Elsa walks up to you guys and in a what she thinks is funny and clever, but she doesn't seem to really have the energy to commit to the bit all the way. She kind of like gives this flourishing bow and presents this fabric pouch to Lula and says, "I have brought you a special delivery."
I will take the pouch and kind of like complete the bits, bow, and then take a look inside.
It is full of just lead shot.
Yay!
Um, it is. There are. There is lead shot for 50 rounds, but only 10 of those are actually complete with casing and gunpowder for the rifle.
So 10 bullets with ingredients to make another 40.
Correct.
I hand it to Zip.
And she says, "This was the best I could do. I have not slept."
You spent all night working
Well.
on these?
I did not. But there are a lot of us in that bar, and it's just a bar. It's not an inn.
Well, I appreciate you helping out. Uh, Look,
Well,
it's not much, but if you need somewhere else to crash for a bit, uh, you can crash in my place. It's got a bed and a kitchenette. That's about it. But you look like you need the sleep.
My place is open too. We'll be in wherever they're sending us for at least a couple days. I'm sure.
Elsa kind of looks back and forth to the two of you and grabs both of you into a big hug. I need both of you to make Constitution saving throws.
Wow.
19.
Wow. 11.
Okay. She has not slept. So the DC was very low. But you are, with some convincing, you are both uninjured and able to escape this grapple of a bear hug.
It's like,
Um,
okay. Yeah. Just take a nap. It's fine. Naps are good.
um, and yeah, so she lets the two of you go and says, "Thank you. Just anywhere I can be away from my mother is a godsend right now."
Oh, she will never step foot in my place.
I'm not sure she even knows where you live.
Even better, and I hand over the keys.
think Helia will like lean down to Elsa and just be like, you know, you're an adult. You can make your own decisions and decide if you'd like to be an adventurer or not. We are a small party. Always room for one more.
You know, I'm flattered, and going with you guys was a lot of fun, but I think I'm just about near-death experienced out, at least for the time being. Um, h- how about if you ever need anything, uh, you know, new weapons, repairs on your armor, um, or supplies, more ammunition, um, you come find me.
Sounds good. And the offer stands.
We also have a forge. That's
Yeah,
just
Have a
gonna
we
what?
could use somebody to run it for us.
She looks to Lula and says, "Since when do you?" That's what that guy gave you on our way back into town, isn't it?
Yep.
God, you guys are so lucky. Where is it?
Phoenix Fireforge. And
And
she
her
just like
eyes
points in that general area.
immediately like light up. You guys own Phoenix Fire?
Uh, technically not officially until we drop off the paperwork, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, come. I'll tell you what. You go into the keep, figure out what your next assignment or job or contract or however your guild does things. And by the time you need repairs, I'll have something maybe resembling a working forge set up at Phoenix Fire.
Sounds like a good deal.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Didn't that place burn down or exploded last week, doesn't it?
Only
They
half
Yeah,
of
started
it.
but
to
it was
repair it.
mostly rebuilt, kind of.
Yeah.
So I get to
Needs work.
remodel the place too?
I mean, don't go crazy, but
What's my budget?
I'll tell you what,
10
there is a
gold.
lot of scrap and things that you can find there. Whatever you can make out of that, you can do to the forge, and we'll do what we can to fund the rest.
There is a small stack that I put aside to make bullets later. Please do not use that stack of metal, but like the rest. Feel free.
So make that stack into bullets for you.
Yes.
Yes. Would you like the rest of this gunpowder back?
No, those are for you. Those are done.
Yeah, but what about the rest of the shot in there?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll find more shot.
How much did you
Okay.
give her, Sam?
I can give you. I have 15 gold on me.
I can give her 20 as well. It's not a lot, but it would
But that would
get
wait
you
me out.
started on some things. I have
Do we
40
have
on me.
party gold?
Yeah, I mean, we got
I have
party gold.
34.
We have 245 party gold.
Do we want to invest the party funds in our new business adventure?
We probably should.
Yeah, you want to give her like 100 gold to start?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
that's true. I guess everything she does isn't going to cost like a whole gold.
Yeah.
Plus, like she would potentially need to buy materials, but could forge a lot of it herself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's even rooms there that you can fix up and make for yourself.
Yeah. Lulu will dig into her pouch, the party fun pouch. She got all these like fucking shit on her belt and like
Nope.
the bandolier and
Nope.
like
Nope. In my head, it's one of Brutus's ball sacks.
no!
That takes the term
Sorry.
coin purse to a whole new meaning.
That's where it started.
No! I hate it so much.
Well, good night, everybody. I think we're done here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna,
Lula just, like,
go.
Lula just like lifts up his tail. She's like, "Hold on, let me unlock this one."
No,
It
I
wouldn't get
vetoed
stolen.
it. It would not get stolen.
With his like spigot ween to like get the beer out.
You guys have ruined this dog.
We're not the one who
Sorry.
made the dog.
I'm a mature adult. Okay.
Yeah?
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I am
In
a
a
mature
normal,
12-year-old adult.
in a normal coin purse, Lula pulls out 100 gold.
Oh my god, and I'll hand it to Elsa. Be responsible with it.
Ball sack of holding.
Oh, not a chance.
I hate that. It's like the haversack.
I think it's a half his sack actually.
All right. So, I mean, your father is just standing behind Elsa,
Oh
just
god, Dad's
in
even
awe
standing
of
there,
this
no!
whole conversation. And is just
Oh,
kind of
no.
dumbfounded.
Ellie and Zill are going like, "Oh, that's a good one."
Chuckle fucks. Jesus.
And yeah, he just says to you, well, just be careful. I know you are, but just be careful and let us know where you're headed.
As soon as I know, you guys will know.
All right. And he turns to Elsa and says, "Well, kid, it sounds like we all have work to do. So let's go check out the state of this this forge."
Don't mind the bodies.
I literally was just gonna say that.
If no one said it, I was gonna make everybody roll a history check. Because there's
Yeah, just-
definitely 7 dead
Dead
people.
bo- Yeah, there's definitely
No.
a stack.
We stacked
kinda-
them
Yeah.
neatly by the door.
Mhm. We'll send. We can probably have somebody sent to take care of that.
Yeah, just walk around.
Go, maybe
them.
maybe use the back door. Yeah.
So the 4 of you, after they turn and walk away, the 4 of you enter Deep Armory Keep. Inside, it is a similar scene of lots of people running all over the place. Everyone looking very busy. Everyone has very important work that needs to be done yesterday. But you head inside and you soon see the familiar face of Crumrack. And he leads you into his office, where you find another familiar face. The agent that had picked you guys up the previous evening. Did I tell you what their name was?
Hmm.
think so.
Yeah, I don't think we
No.
learned their names.
Yeah.
Brom. 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 And Brom is carrying 4 small scroll cases. And as soon as you enter Crumrack's office, without saying anything, Brom hands each of you one of these cases. Upon opening it and reading its contents, it at the top in large bold letters are the words "Terms of Conscription" and your name.
Great.
In short, you guys take a few moments to read through this. It essentially it doesn't it is less serious than like a draft, that you're being drafted like into an army. Um but it is official notice that you have been conscripted to a different guild. That you are no longer members of the Deep Armory. You are members of the Legion, the Deep Legion. Think of it as like the parent company or the parent guild to the Deep Armory.
Oh, we moved to corporate.
Yes, you work directly for the corporate office now.
Oh, gross, gross.
There are a few duties, and like a lot of it is just, the legalese, jargon. Um, parties the first and parties the second, and code of conduct, and all that kind of like standard garbage that you recognize a lot of the language from most of your Deep Armory contracts. But there are 2 sections that reinforce the formality of your current main objective, which is to locate and bring to justice the Deep Armory agent Sersha. And the second is to aid the recovery and what's the word I'm looking for? Aid the recovery and stability of the city-state of Korsavaru under the guidance of Barrig Baronrock.
Does that name sound familiar?
Everybody make a history check.
Dirty 20.
Natural 20.
12.
For a total of
22. My history is Garbo.
19.
5.
Zilni and Helia, Lula, you recognize the name, rings a bell, but you don't know why you recognize it. Zilni and Helia, you recognize this person as a highly decorated commander in the Deep Legion.
Can you give his name one more time?
Barrig Baronrock, and I am dropping that in the chat as well. even though it's been a while since we played Spelling Bee.
I mean,
I
I
feel
would
like
have
that one would-
failed if that makes you feel better.
Wow,
Did you put an E in it too?
What's that, Tina?
Did you put an E in it too, Rhodes?
I thought it was barren, like
So did I. Like a
glass.
baron? Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going with.
Oh,
the
I
B
was
for
going
barren.
barren, like bare, like barren plains.
Mm.
Mm.
We all had different barons.
Maybe I
Sure,
really
Darren.
should have had you all spell it.
Yeah.
I mean, no one would have gotten points, but
No points here.
This shows you that phonetic spelling is bullshit.
I know. Hooked on phonics, it does not work.
No.
All right. So yeah, after you guys take a few moments to read through this document, the document is the same for all four of you, and you all, have an opportunity to compare notes. The only thing that is different is your name at the top.
Is there a length of service?
None listed.
Is there even a section for it? Or is
Until you
it
die?
Is there a section and it's just like you're doing this as needed, or is it like that's just been omitted from what's been written?
In character roads.
Make an investigation.
This is those thoughts,
check.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the retirement match?
My brain just immediately goes to
Yeah,
Thurston
next
when
thing is what-
contracts come up.
Do you get a better match because you're doing higher risk work?
That would be nice. Investigation, that would be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Mhm.
The language on the contract is unclear as to a length of service. You do find that your pension is a little bit better in the Legion.
That's nice.
People who work in the retail stores don't typically get PTO, and the goons at the home office get like 6 weeks. That sort of shit.
As one of those goons that works at a corporate office for a retail company, I don't get that much.
That's why this is fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh yes, fantasy world, yes.
Mhm.
Where you get the PTO.
Yes.
I'm reminded of a conversation I had with my father not too long ago about the amount of PTO you can accrue or get or have access to or be entitled to. A man who is retiring at the end of this year. So that was a fun reality check for him. But yeah, so your pension is a little bit better in the Legion. The language about terms of service is unclear. It elude all of the language is primarily mentioning like the current state of affairs, that once the city has make an insight check. I don't want to tell you how to think.
18.
18. It is a reasonable assumption that once the city is under control and in a good place to be rebuilt, and the rebuilding is underway, and martial law is undeclared, that the other terms of the contract could be up for renegotiation. But right now, that is your goalpost. After you all have a few minutes to read through this, Zilny goes through it a little bit more with a fine-tooth comb. You are told that your the person who will be handling your team um is inside the city, inside the mountain. So that's where you will be spending the foreseeable future. And you are to report to Commander Baron Rock before the end of the day. You are also, I don't remember if I said this explicitly when you guys got your new equipment, but you are all given like new badge, new identification, labeling you as Deep Legion.
Yeah, I think you said that the armor had that insignia.
Yeah, the armor definitely has that insignia. But in addition to that, you guys are given essentially new badges, new items.
Legion sounds like such a cool
And at this point, Crumrack turns to you and says, "Well, do you have any questions? Questions, comments, concerns, conundrums,
name. I mean,
quandaries?"
do you have any idea how to transfer the deed of a business into our name?
That would be handled. Um, I know I told you guys last session where you need to go.
It's very possible I was out walking Max at this point, so if this is a repeat, please feel free to move on because I know I had to duck out for a bit at the end.
Um, you guys do. It is at a different guild hall that does still
You said it was
exist.
the Gilded.
Gilded Society.
Yeah.
That
Emergence?
sounds about.
Because
Yes.
It's commercial, not not residential.
Yes, it is commercial real estate, so that is under the purview of the merchants. I did open up Foundry, so if anybody wants to look at or reference the map, it is there. Because I don't have just like a static, JPEG or whatever image of it to reference.
I assume we'll be given supplies and such when we check in there, inside?
Well, you've already received your new uniforms and equipment. What other supplies?
Health potions,
do you-
food?
Unfortunately, we don't have in the way of health potions to spare. Most of that stock was commandeered from the Sharper Visage and Gilded Society in the wake of the, initial event. So until more of those products are created, there is a deep shortage. But you will have access to meals at any barracks with a kitchen. You'll be able to go in and get meals. I cannot currently attest to the the robustness of the menu, the quality of the menu, or the quality of the food on that menu, but I can't promise you that it's probably not poisoned.
Good enough for me.
Alright. And you are all given essentially an advance, like a salary advance, of 15 gold pieces.
And how often do we get paid? This is Zill trying to remember what he read in the contract. He's not going to phrase it like that out loud. That would be rude.
This is still a contract. It's still a gig
Mm,
type job.
Gotcha.
This 15 gold is kind of a stipend for incidentals more than it is like a regular salary.
mm.
So as you complete jobs, as you get complete objectives and things of that nature, there will be a variety of payouts depending on the work done.
Gotcha.
All right. If there are no other questions, I do have other duties to attend to.
Nope, nothing
Yeah.
else.
All right. Then, as Brahm walks past you on his way out, because he's a busy man, he gives each of you a short handshake and says, "Welcome to the Legion."
Not sure we had much of a choice.
Crumrag says, "No, you really didn't, but this is certainly better than many of the alternatives."
Alright, well. Go deal with Gilded Society and then head into the mountain?
Yeah.
How do
I
we
assume
get
we just
in
take
the
our
mountain?
paperwork with. Yeah. Oh yeah. How do we get in now? Good. Better question than in how do we get allowed in is how do we physically get in?
Isn't there a door? There's a path,
Um,
isn't there?
I mean, there was a door.
There
Well, no,
is
but like I thought there was like another like staircase or some shit.
there
making that
is a there is a path that um snakes down the south end of the ravine.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for you guys, everything that you still need to do in Skytown is on the south end.
Mm.
Um so there is a path that snakes down the ravine to the water's edge. And from there, you can get to what was once the Great Gates of Korsava Brew,
Got it.
which are cracked and broken open.
Cool.
All right. So you guys head to the Gilded Society. Um, it takes you a few minutes. Um, you have all of the necessary paperwork. So all you essentially need to do is just file it. And you are given a fresh copy of the deed with whose name on it.
Can we do lore and order?
All of us.
Or all of us?
Oh. I forgot we had a group name. Yeah, do we have to register Law and Order as like an actual
LLC.
LLC? And then the LLC owns the business? Oh god. Oh god.
I mean, we probably should because taxes.
But again, Zill has no idea.
Still knows nothing about this.
So yes, if you want to do it that way, there is a 3 gold piece fee to incorporate lore and order.
Helia will just hand it over and be like, just whatever
do the
needs to
thing.
be done.
Okay. So you pay that fee. It takes you guys about a half hour's worth of filling out paperwork. It is 9 different sets of almost identical paperwork. And all 4 of you have to sign each page.
When you buy a
Initial
car,
here, sign here. There is one page that is just verify your aliases for each of you. Zilny, Helia, and Dever, all of your lists are fairly short. Lula, your list of aliases is like 3 pages long.
It's only a... Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Not aliases, it's just her full ass
Yeah,
name.
it's my
No.
full legal name.
It is every combination of certain middle names. Some of the aliases are Lula, and some of them are Alula, and some of them are
Hallelujah.
your full ass name. Some of them are your full name, but a few of your middle names are different order. One of them, it's like half your name hyphenated. Rhodes knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, can confirm this happens.
Rhodes, you know the pain that I'm trying to describe. You bought a house once.
You bought a house.
Yes. I've lived 36 years almost. Yeah, sucks. And had to confirm my identity. It's like, no, it's really me. You just typed it wrong. You forgot the hyphen. I'm right. You're wrong. Oh, you're the government? Whatever you say. I don't care.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So you have to like go through and confirm that all actually you. And that right there is what takes like the biggest portion of
We're
the
all
time.
done.
Y'all just go get breakfast. Go get breakfast. I will meet you wherever.
But yeah, after about a half hour of reading and signing your name 1,000 times, you get all of the paperwork done to incorporate the name Lore, and then you use the name Lore and Order LLC to transfer ownership of the Phoenix Fire Forge. And yeah, and away you go.
Sweet.
All right. Is there anything else you wish to do before entering the mountain?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, you head down this path, make your way down this path, and head through the gates. And you see, in the rugged, majestic heart of the mountain, nestled deep within the craggy embrace of ancient stone, lies the dwarven city of Kor Savabru. This city, hewn from the very rock of the mountain, is a marvel of both ancient craftsmanship and inventive ingenuity. You look out, following the path that this new river cutting into the mountain, and you stand at the precipice of this cliff, and you look out into this open domed cavern that is every bit of a half a mile or more across. And you look down into this conical shape that is just rings and rings going down into the mountain, into the darkness. The city's architecture is a blend of timeless dwarven tradition and cutting-edge innovation. Massive fortified gates carved with intricate runes stand guard at the entrance, now broken and crumbled due to this giant earthquake that has cracked this whole mountain like an egg. Suspended high above the city and crisscrossing this great crater are cable-driven gondolas, a testament to the dwarven engineering prowess. These gondolas, crafted from gleaming metals and enduring carvings, glide silently along their steel cable. They traverse the cavernous space, linking different levels of the city. The cables themselves enchanted with magical wards to ensure smooth and safe travel, glowing faintly with soft ethereal light. As they move, the gondolas provide stunning aerial views of the bustling streets and the grand halls below. On the lower levels, you see snaking through the labyrinthine tunnels, electric rail cars. These rail cars, built from heavy-duty metal and reinforced with enchanted stone, clatter along their tracks with a rhythmic mechanical cadence. The tracks twist and turn through the mountain, connecting the city's various districts and mines. Each rail car is powered by a combination of steam and magical energy, allowing for swift and reliable transportation. As one of these rail cars comes up to you and stops at a small station near the entrance, you see that the interior is filled with comfortable plush seats and polished wood paneling, reflecting the dwarves' pride in their craftsmanship. Continuing to look down into this seemingly endless expanse, throughout the streets and chambers that you can see, crystalline lamps float mid-air, casting a warm golden glow. These lamps are enchanted with light, their radiance never flickering and never dimming. They are powered by luminescent crystals mined from the deepest caverns, each one enchanted to absorb and then store sunlight. You see these gone as you watch this city with all of the gondolas and the rail car and the various points of light. This city is what you can only define as its own living being. It is just constant rhythmic movement. You look down, and in the far distance below, you're kind of looking down past all of these rings that are getting smaller and smaller towards the bottom. Pillars at various points around this cone just straight up and are lined with more buildings holding the ceiling up. You see that there is a clear crack in the wall that cuts through an entire district from the top where you're standing all the way down to the bottom. And you can see at the bottom the shimmering reflection of some of these lights as the bottom of this cone is still slowly filling with water. And with that, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break and let that scene settle in a bit.
I feel like Lula's gonna never want to leave.
Yeah, she's very excited about this. All right.
Can't blame her.
Gonna touch all things.
All the things. All right.
Yes.
5 minutes.
Yes, quick 5, stretch your legs, and we will be back momentarily.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Welcome
back.
back. So, you stand at the precipice of this giant, conically shaped city. And there's a fly in my office, and...
Oh, he came upstairs?
He's in my office.
He was down here. Get him. Get him.
Yeah, just fly into that light bulb and cook yourself.
Get him. Like a cat.
So you stand... God, fuck, I'm trying to talk!
God damn it, Gerald!
That
I
fly's
think
big,
the
too.
fly is winning D&D.
Yeah, that's the fly
so too.
broke Dustin.
You know it's a fucking druid that just got flying.
Yeah.
Got flying as well.
Yeah.
That sucks that you can't be a flying bug until you can actually fly as a wild shape,
Mhm.
even though a bug is like a CR -5.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to wait till level 8.
Mhm.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
It could be like a gliding. Maybe it could be a gliding creature though. Like that counts, right?
Yeah, like a
One of those flying
squirrel
squirrels.
or
Yeah.
flying squirrel.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar glider.
Sugar glider.
Oh, I think
Like
they're
it's
the
not
word.
true flight.
And
Cork,
it was
come
me when all of you
back.
froze.
Oh, there you go.
Oh wait, now you're back.
Yeah.
So you stand on the precipice of this giant city. There are pillars that are like holding the roof up of varying heights. One of them is on the far side of the cavern. And it is, the bottom of it is a couple of rings down, but it's kind of towards the top. But it is a massive pillar, probably 50 to 100 feet across. And it is carved, even from this distance, being probably a half mile away, you can make out some pretty key details in the carving of this one building. I would like everyone to make a history check.
9.
You said history?
History.
Yeah, it's a big 4.
21.
I have a +8. Come on. 14.
Okay. Endeavor, you realize what this pillar building is first. But slowly all of you realize that this enormous, intricate building is the sanctum of the Forge. It is one of the most elaborate buildings in the city. It is a cathedral-like building. It is almost like a Gothic cathedral in its construction. That type of scale and elaborateness. And it serves as the guild not the guild headquarters, because it is not actually a guild, but it is the seat of the high priestess of the Forge Master.
Means a
And
gear should be there.
as you are looking out over this expanse, one of those rail cars. Think San Francisco streetcar, steampunk, and magic. That is the kind of vibe that these cars have. But this car pulls up to this station. You are on. You and this station are on the same side of the canyon. Isn't the right word that I'm looking for. This tear in the that runs through the city where this earthquake has shattered.
The gorge.
Gorge. That is an acceptable word. But you and this railcar station are on the same side. And the it is plain to see that while this car is unmanned, it knows that the only way forward is back the way that it came.
It's like
Were
food
we-
delivery robot.
Very cool. Were we told, like, where to go? Like, hey, report to this building in this district. Or were we told,
Maybe
I don't know, it's in the
on
fucking city.
Maybe it's on the thing. The contract?
Endeavor, make an investigation check.
As I go now to read the fine print all over it, because I just signed it and was like, yeah, somebody else will tell me if I'm being dumb. Investigation 12.
12.
Yep.
You find, in that section where it lists Commander Baronrock as the person you are meant to be reporting to, it does tell you where to go, and it says the Chained Jackal level 3.
And presumably we're on level 1? Or does it start
0?
high and then it goes... Which way is it
You know what we
counting?
should have asked for is a map. Do they have something? We are at a rail stop, a rail station. Is there anything on the wall that indicates
You are here?
Yeah, like is there anything on the wall that indicates where we are in relation to the various levels and such?
Like
it's
a fucking mall directory?
No, like a station map. It's a rail car.
Yeah,
I
it is
don't know where it goes.
Where's the dining car?
I might
please?
get on the wrong line. You know what happens if you get on
Yeah,
the blue and not
alright.
the orange?
Yeah, we end up in Harlem and it's an express train.
Yeah, is this
Yeah,
the
I'm
express
gonna-
running on the local track today? Because that sucks.
So I'm gonna hope that New York does these kinds of maps the same way Chicago does. I've never been on the New York subway, but I have ridden the L. And for
Yes.
those of us who have ridden the L, there is a line map.
Yeah.
Does
and
the
it is
L also smell like bum pee?
Yes.
yeah.
That's universal.
Well,
No,
not-
that's a lie. DC's always smells like burning because it's always on fire.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago's doesn't smell as bad, I would think, because it's elevated and most of it is outside at least.
That's fair.
The outside parts of New York definitely still have a stank.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but we still have bed bugs, so like...
Yeah.
Okay, trade off. We have
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I'm not
have
I'm not
rats.
saying that it doesn't stink. I'm
We
just
have-
saying that it's not as bad as it would be it was all underground, sitting
It
in the
doesn't
same
not
stagnant.
stink, but
Yeah, it
From the
could be
level
worse.
of
I
stink.
will
Yeah.
take the CR5
Little
rats we
five-stanger.
have in the subway
CR
in New York
rats.
over bed bugs.
Yeah, the bed
Listen.
bugs are fucking CR20 because they're disgusting. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they're fucking disgusting.
And
And
I
it's not
mean,
just like a bed bug, it's
No.
a swarm of bed
yeah,
bugs.
there's
CR20.
Swarm.
the bed bugs are
Hmm.
but yes, there is a this
language? I do
car
read this language.
uh this particular car will hit stops on level 1 and level 2.
Okay. So we're gonna have to
Um,
change trains.
However, there is a certain point where the stops are darkened because it's like a the whole map is like, not to make it sound more sci-fi than it is, but the different stops are like little lights. But half of those lights are dim, and it is from a certain point onwards to the end of the line. You also notice that, and this is all outside the actual train car, you see that the line is depicted in a straight line, but the same stop, the stop that you are at, is at both endpoints.
Makes a round. Or well, now it makes a most around and then it goes back.
So yeah, so this car will hit, we'll say 8 different stops. And there are stops on level 1 and stops on level 2.
We could at least take it down a little bit.
Go to 2. Go to 2 and hopefully it connects to 3.
It might be easier to walk from 2.
We'll figure it
You
out.
know,
I'm
remember
sure.
when we did that in the London Underground and we walked like 2 miles underground?
You know what? We thought it was. It
Sam
seemed
knows
a
that
lot.
pain.
All of a sudden, you look out a window and you're under the English Channel. Like, wait a minute.
On
On
the
my way to
map, they made
France.
those stations look a lot closer together than they were.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, New York is like that. Like, the interchanges are just like, oh, okay, that's right. I'm walking the length or the width of the city to get to the other line. That's what that is. I'm just doing it, and I'm doing it in the place that smells like pee. The underground pee as opposed to the above ground pee.
It's true.
Different kind of pee.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair,
totally different.
Well, the underground pee is more like toasty inside, stale, sweaty air.
mm-hmm. The above ground pee really depends on which direction the wind is blowing from. Do you have river in there or not?
And sometimes it smells like cinnamon nuts.
Yeah, it could be sweet pea.
I don't know if that makes it actually better or even worse.
Nope. Street meat, cinnamon nuts, and bum pea. And it depends on if it's trash day.
Ugh.
Does this train cost money?
There's no driver. It appears that this entire system is just automated.
They're
I
a
have to scan
ticketing
a card.
station.
Make a perception check.
13.
You do not see any kind of ticketing station.
Okay, just a free public transportation. Like, good job,
roads?
Grasshopper Brew.
Red or blue?
Oh, blue.
Okay.
Okay.
They
Continue.
have maybe down here they have both the free transportation and the public health care.
Oh.
It's called clerics.
Universal
But
health
are they
care.
free?
So what are you guys doing?
I guess
I
we're
think we get on it.
hopping on the train.
Are there any other folks in where we are waiting, or is it just us?
Uh, there is something um I passed over because I really wanted to get to the description of the city. You guys from Skytown, there is like there were guards guarding the gate into Skytown, but those were only maybe a half dozen guards manning that gate. Here there are more than twice as many that you have to get past to get from Skytown into the mountain. You show your credentials, and they allow you to pass without issue. The tunnel that leads from that gate to where you're standing is about 100 feet. Lined with torches. So the usually there would be some people able to traverse back and forth from the core to Skytown. You are the only people standing here. You can see, like, off in the distance, you can see other people milling about or work doing other things on level 1, but you guys are coming, like, fresh out of the train station, and the train station was desolate.
Cool. Well,
Say we get on.
Train! And Lula and Brutus bound onto the train.
Okay. You all get onto the train, and a few moments go by before the train on its own, not a train, it is a streetcar. But the streetcar starts moving around. So you're going clockwise around this ring. You reach the next stop. The streetcar comes to a halt, sits for about 5 minutes, and then on its own continues on. A few people get on. These are all dwarves. A few people get on at the next stop. Somebody gets off. A few others get on. And the streetcar on its way around, it takes a sharp left and goes into, deeper into the wall, into the mountain, before going down and on level 2. And the streetcar stops at the next stop. You're now on level 2.
Get off.
Yep. Success. Ish.
Right.
we have ridden the
You can now see you haven't really gone that far around. But you can see that there are there's a little bit more activity here. A lot of the buildings, it's a lot of residential, a lot of businesses, um, around the edge of the ring. It looks to be a lot more fluent. You do notice that deeper, like there are like streets that go deeper, branching off from the rings deeper into the mountain. Um, those buildings do not have as good a view. So it does not appear that those buildings are. The construction is a little bit less elaborate. The units are smaller, that sort of thing. The it is definitely urban in its spacing of buildings. There are not really any, partly because it's very urban and space is a premium, and partly because of the style of architecture. There are no real like freestanding buildings. All of the buildings are kind of connected to each other or connected to the walls and or ceiling of these tunnels. But yeah, you step off the train car, and after a few minutes, the train car goes on its way.
Look to see if there's another map at this station. One that indicates another train that goes to level 3, perhaps.
Red or blue?
Red?
The only line map here is that of this rail line.
What have I got?
And for the record, I am using my Star Warsy chance cubes.
Well,
so it's not they're not high or low percentile. They are red or blue chance cubes.
We can continue
Start walking
along this path and keep an eye out for another station or a
staircase.
A staircase, elevator.
Probably an elevator.
All right.
Gondola.
You look out over the rings, and you immediately see where a gondola stand is. And the gondolas are pretty much like a shortcut to the other side, like to the exact opposite end of the rings. But all of the gondolas also traverse a bunch of levels. So you immediately see a gondola station that is not going to be too far walk for you guys, but that gondola will take you to the other side of the rings and down probably 6. So they are hopping gondolas is probably a great way to get from from the bottom of the rings to the very top, or to maybe a relatively close ring but on the opposite side. But if you're only traversing like one, staying on the same ring and just going to the other side, a streetcar is probably a better option for you. or if you're only going down one ramp, you can walk. Between where you started and here, you did see, some streets that do go down to other levels. So that is a thing.
We have time.
Yeah.
Get our
Guess
bearings.
we just start walking.
All right. So what are you guys doing as you walk? We're gonna do maybe an urban urban travel skill challenge here.
I think I want to try to get my bearings, but in the sense of north, south, east, and west are not going to matter here
Mm-hmm.
because we're not going to have points of reference most of the time, given we are underground. So I want to try and either come up with or find some kind of useful frame of reference that's like, I don't know, skyward and stoneward or whatever, that will make sense for this space so that we can better navigate both the up and down as well as everything else, because this is not like above. So I would like to do survival, I think.
Okay.
Which one of you today? You're all rolling like ass. Miss Jackson.
Okay. I will come back to that.
Okay.
What are the rest of you doing?
Right.
I would like to, I guess, as we're making our way through and trying to figure out our way from train to train, looking like hardcore tourists, I'd like to, I guess, use my perception to see if anybody is like watching us, following, or how we're being taken as we're like walking through.
Okay, say the first half of that again.
I wanted to do perception to see if we're being kind of like tracked, I guess, or how we're being taken as we make our way through to the various floors of everything.
Yeah, if you want to roll perception for that, you can.
That's cut. 23.
23. You are everyone that you pass, the people you were sharing that train car with, other people that you pass on the streets, going about their day, everyone notices you. For a bunch of reasons. You look like a Deep Legion patrol. One of you is mounted on a mechanical dog, which is not something that you see every day. One of you is twice the height of anybody else that you see here. So there's a lot of things that make your group stand out.
Well, and I guess, okay, like, I'm still looking like a half-elf, so presumably Endeavor and I are getting like, oh, tallies are down here.
Yeah, which is very uncommon.
Yeah.
Even
Did they have to sit in the train? Like, was it tall enough for that?
Really crouching.
No, you were probably hunched over a little bit, both of you. But it's not like you had to sit on the floor. And there were seats. So all of you could have been just, sitting.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, it does not appear like no one is watching you with any kind of like obvious malice or distrust. Any more so than you would, give weird looks to a cop that you're sharing the subway.
Sure. So it's not anything that would kind of like raise the hairs on the back of my neck. In other words, it's fairly
Yeah,
like
you're definitely being noticed, but you are pretty quick to justify the amount of looks that you're getting.
sure, sure. So it's yeah. I guess she's like trying to discern whether it was. Did I phrase again?
No?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Everybody just got really still. I was like, shit. Um, I guess she's
And
just trying to
listening
discern.
intently.
Yeah, so essentially, like, what I was poorly explaining that I was trying to discern is whether it was like when we came back into Skytown where everybody is like on edge. We see this group of shifty people clearly on the bridge, and it's like as we start to cross it, we're like, fuck, we're gonna get robbed right now. You know what I mean? Like, is there any of that situation going on, or is it mostly just people watching like, oh, Deep Legion arm, like Deep Legion's down here?
Yeah, I mean, you essentially just look like a Deep Legion patrol.
Okay.
You don't see anybody like actively looting anything, that you're interrupting anything. Um, but you guys look like if it was like deep armory, you guys would be like beat cops on
Sure.
patrol. But
Yeah.
the Deep Legion, you guys are walking around. There's 4 National Guardsmen just walking down the street, heavily armed.
Yeah.
They may not have any idea where they are, but that remains to be seen. I've only spoken to half of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Rhodes and Sam, what are you guys doing?
So we've had perception and I'm sorry, what was the first one?
Survival.
Survival. That's what I thought. Cool, the 2 things I'm good at.
I could change mine to investigation, but
no, that's fine. This is not gonna end well for me, but I'm going to do. I guess it's probably going to be deception, which I'm not good at. But I want to walk with purpose, like as if I am not lost.
Okay.
So that we don't give off any stupid vibes. Like, as he's noticing, oh, people are noticing us. He wants to make sure that, other than the fact that there's some tallies with us and so on a mounted metal horse, other than that, we don't stick out anymore of like fucking tourists.
Yeah, we're not the tourists that are like stopping in the middle of the street to gawk at the buildings.
Right.
like white sneakers.
All right.
So let's see how this works. That could be worse.
If you want to do, I do performance instead of deception.
0 either way.
Okay.
So 11.
11? Okay.
Yeah.
You are trying your best to exude confidence.
Yes. Just like, yeah, Toad's supposed to be here right now. So.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one as well. I want to give you an answer with more context of what the group is doing as a whole. Sam.
Yes.
Give me that context.
This might be a little. Oh, this might not help with the context. Um. So the main objective of our assignment was to continue looking for Saoirse.
Hmm.
Yes.
So while we are headed down to the third floor, I want to do either insight or investigation of scoping out the area, like where we are passing, not like going off the beaten path, but like getting a vibe for, like, you said that this ring was pretty affluent, things like that, but like getting a vibe of where she might be hiding out based on what we know of her. I know we have a ton of rings to go through, but like getting an idea of like, oh, well, maybe she's in one of these affluent houses. Maybe she's further into the mountain, like that kind of thing. Getting a vibe check, basically.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me like an insight or history.
Oh, history's way better. I mean, not if I roll like garbage and roll in that one. Sake, you guys.
You know, we had to get up real early today.
She's tired.
She still got a concussion from her bitch ass aunt smacking her in the face.
She got knocked out of combat yesterday, you guys. Like,
Saying.
oh yeah. Still kind of recovering.
I'm saying.
So what was that result?
It was a 9, but it was an at 1.
Okay. I mean, on a skill check, you cannot automatically or critically fail or succeed.
True.
So.
It was a 9.
Yeah, based on, so you don't really know a whole lot about Saoirse. The things that you know for, you're gonna have to do some real detective work, before you have any chance of finding her. Saoirse is not going to just fall into your lap. You're not literally going to bump into her on the street.
Yeah, that wasn't really the intention. Just trying to kind of get
But yeah, it is going to take, with a 9, you don't really know if she would, you don't have any idea where she might want to hide, if she would have a preference of a more or less affluent area.
Okay.
Or, if she would want to, hide or lay low in one particular ring or another, or so on and so forth.
Got it.
So, Rhodes, you are trying to just exude confidence for the party. The rest of the party is just kind of looking around, clocking where everybody else on the street is. As a result, you guys are all given kind of a wide berth. People are going, not to say that they are crossing the street to avoid you, but people on the street are instinctively keeping their heads down and being not in your endeavor.
In a we're scary sort of way, or in a we're street preaching sort of way.
In a don't talk to the cops kind of way.
Okay.
Just a general streetwise wisdom of don't talk to cops.
Fuck the police.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Got it.
I really like how I made you guys cops against your will and then have done nothing but disparage
Yeah.
law enforcement.
Zill's totally fine with this. It's like, this is normal.
Endeavor.
Hmm.
You are looking around trying to get your bearings. Um, and the best navigational system that you can come up with is kind of um there are three different
Hmm.
directional distinctions. There is up and down, higher elevation, lower elevation, which is pretty standard, pretty common. Don't have to do too much brain work for that one. But instead of north, south, east, west, the best thing that you can come up with is have using essentially like your north south direction is based on where the gate
Hmm.
to Skytown is. So that being like your 12 o'clock position.
Hmm.
And then everything else around the ring is degrees around a circle, is essentially like your north south type coordinate.
Okay.
Your east west type coordinate would be closer or further from the center of the cavern.
Hmm.
So towards the ring, away. That seems like it would make the most to you. That doesn't really tell you where you're going, but it might allow you to describe where you have been.
Yeah, I think that's trying to commit to memory the equivalent of a eventually what will hopefully be more of like a neighborhood map of like, okay, we have, this particular neighborhood is, level 1, 3 o'clock, you know inward, and it's
Yeah.
someplace that's tucked back in the whatever. I'll name them all as we come upon them. It may not be the same as what they're actually called. They will hit
Yeah,
it.
I'm still working on trying to build this map, but I'm having, because of its very unique shape and dimensions, I'm having difficulties. Um, but yeah,
Perfect.
that seems the best you can come up with for a cardinal directional
Okay.
navigation system.
There we go.
Right. So you all continue on your way after about 10 or 15 minutes. Um, you start seeing signs that indicate you start to see signs that indicate that a path down to the next ring is nearby.
Hmm.
Um, you guys follow that down, and you guys do make the down to the third ring.
Okay.
Um, as you guys are going down these rings, you are noticing, not that you haven't really noticed it before, but all of these buildings are built like directly into the rock face. Again, there's no like freestanding structures anywhere. Um, Everything is built
Mm.
directly into the rock face and built as pillars
Mm.
holding up the ceiling of these caverns once you get a little bit more. um I will try and name all these directional distinctions for you, but further into the mountain, away from the ring, is it's all into pillars, into the rock faces.
Mhm. Oh,
Oh,
no.
Well, fuck
well
us.
then.
Wait,
Wow.
Oh no, the whole layout is just fucked.
wait.
What happened?
Oh, there we go.
Almost okay. Did you hit the wrong button?
I didn't hit any button. Discord decided to just close.
As it does.
So, but you guys do make it down to the third ring.
Is there a difference in terms of like what the ring, as we're traversing, what the rings are for? So like anything where it's like, oh, this one here is mostly residential versus this one over here. This one we've stepped down to is, I don't know, this one that we're down in the business district. Or is it very interspersed where it's houses, it's homes and businesses and whatnot all mashed together?
I need you to make a skill check.
Mm.
The type of skill
Knowledge urban landscape.
that I will.
Okay.
Knowledge city planning.
Mm-hmm.
Make a. Fuck. See, this is the time that I wish there was a more specific skill list. Because I know there's a third edition skill that is the skill I'm asking for. I just make a bear intelligence roll, I guess.
Okay.
Bear intelligence. Are bears intelligent?
A bum, a bum, bum, bum.
I mean,
bum,
Wild
bum,
shape
she's
bum,
and
a
then make
bum,
your
druid,
roll.
bum,
so
bum,
she
bum,
should
bum,
know
bum.
about bears.
All right, wild shape into a bear
16.
and then roll an intelligence.
Yes, because that will not terrify the people on the street.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? You're the cops.
Yeah,
You're the super
this-
cops.
The cop is now a bear. 16.
With a 16, you look out over over the rings, and you realize something about the shape of this city.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open pit mine.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
as the city grows and they continue mining, they just keep digging down. So it stands to reason that, and even though you've only seen like a very small fraction of only these top two rings, you have seen residential and you've seen some commercial. You imagine that it's just all kind of everywhere.
Okay. Sounds good.
The dwarves did not find this nearly perfect conical shape inside this hollow mountain and then build a city in it. They made this hole.
Okay. That sounds okay. Away. All right. There's that. Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that we are on level 3, we'll do another round of the skill challenges. And I'm going to go in the reverse order. Sam.
What? So we're on level 3?
You've made it down to level 3.
Um. Somebody else is probably better at perception.
The area that you are in does appear to be a commercial area. And there are people going about their day. It seems like the it seems like inside the core is a little bit more um to say it's more civil is probably an unkind way to put it. But the residents here seem less desperate. And it's kind of, business as usual. We all have work to do. Let's all, you know, keep calm and carry on kind of mentality from all of these people.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna take a look and see if I can find this, see if there's any signs for this chain jackal place.
Okay.
If there's any, like, signs of, the Legion, if there's anywhere just to go without having to ask anybody first.
Okay. Let's fucking fly.
Still?
Rhodes, what are you doing?
Um,
11.
Okay.
I'm sorry, which one did you settle on, Sam?
Perception.
Perception. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I can't, again, since there's no knowledge urban planning, um, survival to, like, orient myself. Essentially, like, okay, right now I'm in this sort of area, but based upon what I saw on the last ring level,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm probably we're probably X amount of distance away from when the landscape changes to a more commercial side of things. And then after a little bit more, we'll probably be back in a residential area. Like he's trying to orient himself and know, okay, before we might hit this place that we're looking for, we're probably got another 10-minute walk before we leave the suburbs and then hit somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Um, yeah, go ahead and roll. Yeah, roll survival, I guess.
23.
23. Um, you, after taking um, the rail car down, somewhat around, uh, the first ring down to the second ring, and then walking from the second ring down to the third ring, you notice it's not a perfect pattern, but essentially the areas of residential versus commerce or different types of commerce are pretty close to um, like square block quantities. So you'll have a couple of blocks of residential, and then you'll have a block of some type of commerce, and then you'll have one or two blocks of a different type of commerce, and then a block of residential, and that kind of thing. So there is some kind of pattern, but
Mhm.
but then all the quantities of those patterns are fairly low. So it's not like you'll go like 90 degrees around the ring and all of it to be residential. It's a lot more interspersed and spread out like that.
Sure.
Uh, Court. It is
So,
the next round of skill challenges.
right.
We've already done perception and survival. So think for just a second about what you're going to want to roll.
Mhm.
Sam, your perception. Um, and what was it? It was 11? Okay. Um, you do notice that as you are making your way around, you are approaching another streetcar station. Um, that is, and this is like right after you guys get down to level 3. This streetcar looks like it'll be running, um, back in the direction that you came from. So back counterclockwise, if you guys have been traveling clockwise.
Okay.
But it'll stay on level 3. You don't see any like specific signs that say, "Hey, chained jackal this way." You don't see any of that. Um, but you do see this train car that appears to be, looping primarily on the third ring.
Okay.
Port.
So, I was thinking, and let me know if you think I should roll something else, but what I kind of want to get a look at, and maybe because Ellie is not necessarily, obviously, from Korsava Brew, um, or Skytown, um, she knows what it's like on the outside and the various sort of statuses of wealth in terms of um, areas of the city and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as we walk through these rings, do we get a sense that Korsava, I guess two things. Korsava Brew as a whole is generally more wealthy than the town outside. So you have sort of
Absolutely,
like
you don't
the,
need to roll that.
okay. And then are the rings, do the rings indicate status? So, like, is your outer ring going to be less wealthy, or maybe new money, up and coming, as opposed to your inner rings that are maybe older or more wealthy? Do we see a difference in attitude towards the Deep Legion, given perhaps status or
The
class of the neighborhood?
um
I was thinking insight, but I don't know if you would consider that insight or not.
make yeah, go ahead and make insight.
Don't fuck me.
Uh-oh.
Not a high wisdom character.
What'd you
What
get?
did you get? You froze.
Of course I did. I got a 9.
9. Um yeah, the only distinction that you've been able to make, you've so first off, you've only been in the top 3 rings. And I don't remember if you were sitting down for this explanation. Uh, but the I'll call it like the atrium
Mm-hmm.
of the city. It's an open pit mine,
Mm-hmm.
and the rings are just, it's a cone like this.
Yeah.
So as the mine grows, they just have more rings added to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, the only distinction that you've been able to make in just the short glimpses on these top 3 rings is, closer to the atrium. is going to be more affluent than farther from the atrium.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Um,
kind of what I was trying to discern whether or not, like,
but
the
it,
richer areas perhaps see us as more like protection as opposed to like the lesser areas that's like, oh, fuck the popos here.
I mean, I don't believe any reasonable thinking human being should trust law enforcement any farther than they could throw them. But that's a personal opinion, and you're free to disagree with me. Um, but as far as the third ring being more affluent than the first ring overall, you haven't gotten anything to support that notion.
Okay.
Um, you know, you muse to yourself that maybe, if there's a larger, higher ring is gonna have maybe 100 houses around the atrium, and those are gonna be the houses with the best view. But the 15th ring down is only gonna have 20 houses around
Sure.
the atrium, so that could be sort of a status symbol.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that first and second ring is all older city. The lower rings are going to be all newer construction.
Mm.
So, there could be 100 different ways to interpret what is more sought after, what is a better symbol of your status.
Sure.
um do we have Tina coming back soon?
I'm not sure, but she did tell me to roll for her. So let me
Okay,
let me
then I will ask you what is Endeavor doing?
So knowing Endeavor, um, as we do, sorry, I'm trying to pull up her character sheet. This is um she has so far rolled survival on the first one, and I didn't hear her second one.
You're determining her second one
Oh, this is her
right now.
second one.
This is the
Okay.
second one.
Um, part of me wants to roll some sort of check to see. We know that the dwarves and gnomes are down here, but in Skytown we see any number of plants and animals that are also working. Is there anything like that down here as well? Should we be on the lookout for those types of things? At what frequency do they appear to be, coming up from the mines at random, things that have to be purged, or are they mostly work animals that are in there, brought in there, and what should they be expecting down here in terms of that?
um yeah, what are you thinking of rolling for that?
Um, I was thinking of nature simply because you know there has to be a way to survive down. They're literally underground. Like, how are they getting oxygen fed to them? How are they, you know, what types of terrain are we seeing down here aside from mines, dirt, and stone?
Okay. Yeah, roll nature or investigation.
Okay.
because it's not so much your abstract knowledge or identifying a specific thing. You're
Mhm.
trying to notice something. You're trying
E-
to intuit and notice the state of a place.
mhm. Went with investigation because that is their higher score for a 16.
16.
Mhm.
Um, there is a fair amount um of flora. You know, it it's not so much trees, but there are lots of ferns and like bioluminescent mushrooms. There are some plants that sort of resemble palm trees. Um, but um, yeah, I mean, photosynthesis doesn't happen down here because you're inside a mountain. There's no sunlight. Um, but there is plant life that exists inside the mountain. Where you are seeing it, it is um like cultivated garden beds or um like when you have a grassy median on a large road, that is where you're seeing a lot of this type of stuff. Um, but there's no like wilderness areas anywhere in here. Everything is manufactured. Everything is curated.
So we're not seeing a lot of, I guess, what I would expect, like certain underground, like natural growth, like you would find in a cave. Maybe perhaps moss with like, I'm thinking like those caves in New Zealand that have like the glowworms and things like that. It's mostly things. It's mostly stuff that has specifically been brought down here, cultivated to and adapted to the environment.
It is it is all native species, but it is all cultivated and manicured.
Okay.
All right. So you guys have a little bit more information about the city as a whole. Sam, you had found um, that train car station. Where are you guys headed? Are you going to keep walking the direction that you have been, or are you going to hop on this streetcar and take your chances going the other way?
I mean, we have all day. Might as well just keep walking. I'm afraid if we jump on the train cars, we're gonna lose. We're not gonna see anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose we could stop and ask somebody. That would be the less foolish thing to
Yeah, but I kind of like to
ask
get
for
my.
directions.
I like the idea of getting our bearings here and learning
I
the lay of
mean,
the land first. We have all day.
yeah, I
Well,
mean, it
we could.
is 20 after 9. However, I'm also really enjoying playing this game of ask me anything about this city,
Hmm.
which is what I feel like this turned into. But I'm honestly I'm kind of here for it. So if that's what you guys want to keep going with, I mean there are people around. You can just pull over and ask directions.
In terms of, I guess like I'm kind of enjoying listening to like this. We've explored Skytown for the last 24 sessions. It's kind of
23.
23 sessions, and then now we finally get to see under the mountains. So it's kind of awesome. But like, is there, in terms of, obviously we're seeing a lot of homes and businesses between, but
Mm-hmm.
are there um like I don't want to say like tourist businesses, but businesses, coffee shops, bookshops, uh, places where people would go to shop for things in their everyday life, where there's maybe just like locals. Is there a coffee shop where we could stop and sample the local whatever and also kind of observe and get our bearings? Or is there a bookshop where we could, go buy a map that somebody has produced and that maps out Korsava Brew and its total? I know you said you're still working on the map, but just like as a generality.
There's only one way to find out.
What
You're
would you
just
like me
gonna
to
have to go inside a coffee shop
All right. Well,
and order a hand
Helia
grenade from the window.
Helia is gonna look at the group and say, "Well, since we do have all day, I don't know about you guys, but I could certainly use a cup of coffee." And she'll turn into the first coffee shop she sees. I don't know, bioluminescent bean or something like that, and just see if she can coffee and find a seat by a window where they can still observe.
um,
Yeah, do we have any idea what time of day it is at this point?
Yeah, because we came down here fairly early in the morning, so surely it's no. I mean, maybe
Like,
I'm
are we
super
hitting
off,
the
but I feel like
brunch
it's
menu or the lunch menu?
yeah.
so you guys came in here, shortly after dawn. I'll say that you've been in the city for about an hour. So we're probably getting to the end of breakfast menu. Some places may have switched to their brunch menu, but it's a dwarven city. It's not too early for drinking. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I mean, there's
Bottomless
always drinks in.
mimosas.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
exactly.
Um,
Mimosa.
you you continue walking the direction you've been going. You get a block or two down, and there is a on the corner. It's a corner shop that it almost has the aesthetic of like a Paris cafe.
In that case,
It's
I will have a croissant.
yeah,
And
it is it's a corner shop. It is all windows on both sides. There are small tables outside the actual building, more tables inside. Um, the inside, as you go in, you realize that obviously the distinction for outside tables or inside tables is not a protection from weather. It is just a little quieter inside. Um, but as you walk into the Smooth Brew Luncheonette,
yes.
you see that there is a bit of a line. And I don't have the ability to pull an entire menu out of my ass for the Smooth Brew Luncheonette.
Disappointing.
But yeah, the line is a couple of people deep, but you all get in line. There is a menu of there's various coffees, teas, imported juices, and you know, not there's no spirits on the menu here, but there are lots of like wines, bottomless mimosas. Um but this is not a place where you're doing, Jaeger shots. It's a little bit classier than that.
Okay.
So no fireball. Got it.
No fireball. They have real
What?
liquor here.
So,
And a variety of like puffs and pastries and sandwiches.
So-
Spam.
it doesn't seem like they're on the side of
Evil.
yes, scarcity, like the above ground. Like they're open business as usual, not sort of like in Skytown where it's like, oh, we're having a hard time getting specific foods and we're out of these things, and you know.
So you guys all step up. You all order something. I assume a coffee and a biscuit or something like that.
Yeah, but make my coffee Irish, thanks.
Yeah. Don't worry. All my dwarves are Irish. Irish is the only way they make anything. um, but yeah, you do get up to the counter and are informed that there are a couple of things on the menu that are either reduced quantity, like you could order a ham sandwich, but you can only order a half sandwich, because they're stretching their stock however they can. Or
Okay.
there are a couple of things on the menu that are out of stock. It is just, this place is a lot cleaner, and it puts on a brave face. But once you do get up to the counter, there is a sense of, oh yeah, this place has not been immune to what's going on.
Sure.
But yeah, so you all go in and order something. Tina, welcome back. You are ordering coffee and pastries at the Smooth Brew Luncheonette.
I put notes in your DM, Tina, from what I wrote for you.
So yeah, you can take all of these to go. So if you want to hang out and grab a table, you can. Otherwise, you can take this stuff on the road and keep walking.
I think Kelly would say, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't mind taking a bit of a respite in a strangely more relaxing environment than we've been in for the last week or so.
That's fine. I mean, we got time, so.
Yeah.
Find a seat and enjoy her half a ham sandwich, biscuit, and Irish coffee.
Okay. So yeah, brunch is served before you report in with the state troopers.
She made sure to get Endeavor a tea so that they could hold it warm in their hands and smell it like they like to.
Perfect. But yeah, so you all get that going, and I think that is as good a place as any to stop for the evening.
Sweet.
We will pick up next week after brunch, I guess.
Yay.
Good job, team.
Listen, brunch is great.
I am not knocking brunch. If I gave any indication that I was knocking brunch, then I sincerely apologize.
Oh no, you definitely didn't. I mean, I love a meal where you don't have to decide you want lunch food or breakfast food because you can just have a little of both. Good times.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a
thanks
good
for running.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and welcome to the core.
Yeah.
I'm so freaking happy you guys are finally here.
Yay.
I'm so excited to explore it more.
Seriously.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Now I'm just picturing it like super pretty, like all bioluminescent and everything like that.
It is a very bioluminescent, and a travesty because it is, 6 weeks ago, it was this like nearly pristine, perfectly. It was like artist depictions of Minas Tirith. And you guys are looking at it after the battle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So
that sucks for us, but that's okay.
It does.
Yep.
Yeah.
all right. Well, yeah. Have a good week, guys, and
Yeah.
we will talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Bye.
Okay, bye.